First time ever that BYU and West Virginia have played in a baseball game, as the Big 12 has been modified, and there are now 13 teams, 13 schools in the Big 12 baseball conference. We start game one of the conference with strike one to Luke Anderson, batting .300. And Major jumps out in front, 0-2. Anderson, 3 home runs, 9 RBIs from Santa Clara, Utah. White getting his third start of the year, and on 3 pitches, first out of the ball game.
Again, Major's not going to waste any time. He's going to go right at hitters. He's going to attack them early with his fastball, and he got 3 straight fastballs right there.
By the way, that first at bat went so quickly, we didn't even had a chance to mention that Barnett was playing on the left side of second base. Here's a ball hit the opposite way to right field to Lumsden. Bergman out number 2, 4 pitches thrown, just 4 so far from the right-hander Major from Mill Hall, Pennsylvania.
Yeah, and all of them strikes. All of them strikes, wanting something to happen, trying to force something to happen here.
Colin Reuter out of Olive Branch, Mississippi. Injured last year. Reuter batting .263. He is the BYU catcher. As a matter of fact, the 2 starting catchers in this game are occupying the 3rd batting positions in the lineups.
Yeah, and watching Reuter before the game and batting practice, he had a great feel to him. A few of his balls left the ballpark, and you could just tell he was on rhythm.
On the 2-0 pitch, a line drive to shortstop. So Major threw only 7 pitches, and BYU is retired in order in the top of the 1st. West Virginia coming to bat. Brady Smith behind the plate. Dave Condon, who flew in from Chicago, is the umpire at first. Ron Whiting at second, and good friend Kirk Dominic is the umpire at third. Kresser, shortstop, and takes ball 1. Kresser, by the way, has he's playing only his 7th game of the year. This is his 5th start, so he's also missed some time because of injury. Inside, interestingly enough, Randy Mazey, the head coach of West Virginia, told us today that for the first time in his career, he was going to be making out a batting order after batting practice.
Yeah, and I mean, whenever you have injuries to the middle part of your lineup, you're almost forced to do that. You know, who's feeling good, who's hitting well today, who's getting in a rhythm. But one of the good things is everybody on this Mountaineer team is interchangeable. You know, guys can play multiple positions and be comfortable there.
And the 1-2 pitch is high. Hansen's brother Brett is on the BYU team. For Hansen, his 2 wins this year. February the 16th, he defeated Southern Cal, and then on the 22nd of February to beat UC Davis. Ball lofted into foul territory. Easy play for Vest, 1 out. No score, bottom of the 1st inning. West Virginia 7-6 this year. BYU is 6-5, but the Cougars started 2-5, and they've won 4 in a row. There are 7, count them, 7 left-handed batters in the West Virginia lineup.
Yeah, it's pretty typical whenever you see a right-hander that, you know, maybe you try to platoon some guys and put left-handers in this lineup. But, you know, with a guy like Hansen, who, if you talk to either one of the coaches, he's got a great changeup. Well, a right-hander's changeup is going to fall away from a left-handed batter. So if you look at the way the defense is shifted, it looks like Hansen's going to try to stay inside on lefties, at least to King here.
Strike called as King shows bunt. King batting .262 with a home run, 7 RBIs, homered at Charlotte. Hansen out of Pleasanton, California. Ball trundled, diving attempt by the shortstop. I think Watkins would have been well served to let Robinson handle that.
Yeah, that's one of the problems that you get yourself into whenever you shift, is you've kind of got your zones and your ranges out of whack. Yeah, that's a routine ground ball to your second baseman that, you know, you don't really know how close you are, how far you are whenever you shift like that.
Now Canadian Sam White. White 277 batting average. No score, bottom of the first inning. Game one of a 3-game series. And this is the only Big 12 conference game today. The rest of the Big 10 schedule gets underway starting tomorrow. And now with 13 teams. Strike called. King, 7 stolen bases and 8 tries. For White, 3 home runs. He had a 2-home run game at Western Kentucky last Friday. Pitch is high, 1-1. Couple of bluffs from King. After a long hesitation, the ball is looped into center field. King on his way to third, and the throw will go into second base. Well, White was handcuffed by the pitch, but he got enough of it to drop it into center field.
Yeah, sometimes it's great to be lucky, you know, because whenever you can get your hands in on a ball like that and it gets you handcuffed, if you could just muscle it out anywhere in the outfield, then you're in good shape.
First and third, 1 out. No score, bottom of the first. And the number 4 batter is Ben Lumsden, hitting .319. So you've got players from South Carolina in spots 2 and 4, King and Lumsden. Ground ball out at first, reverse double play. A 3-6 double play. West Virginia's bottom of the first, no runs, 2 hits. Wait a minute, let's go back and see that replay again. I think the umpire indicates for us, doesn't he, Tyler?
Yeah, he does. He points to the plate, and he's in the best position. He can see the guy across the plate and the tag out at second base.
So a 1-0 West Virginia lead. And my apologies to you folks. Shortstop on the ball, popped by Vest. Shortstop Kresser makes the catch.
And you know, in that situation, if you're a runner and you hear tag behind you, what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to break down and chop your steps, especially if you have a runner on third, to try to get yourself in a rundown and let that runner on third score. But I mean, how often do you come across a situation like that where you can, you know, validate practicing it?
Pitch is high. Aloy, the freshman, batting .349. First base umpire Dave Condon. 1-0 West Virginia. And 2-1. Aloy, 3 home runs, 9 RBIs, the .349 batting average. A young man from Maui, Hawaii.
We had a comms problem.
The story of the bottom of the first, 1 run on 2 hits and no one left on base. Good sharp breaking ball, 2-2. Randy Mazie saying that Major throws the fastball, slider, changeup, has added a cutter. Weekly hit to the right side to second baseman Barnett. Flip to West, 2 outs. Let's look at the play that ended the bottom of the first inning. Runners at first and third, 1 out. Now we've got it all in sync for you. The step out at first. This is not a forced play at second base. So therefore it is the question about whether the runner from third crossed the plate before the out at second base. Good job, crew. Scott Bartlett, our director, and Eric Lilly, our producer. And Jones hitting .359. 2 home runs, 9 RBIs. A couple of these hitters have offered up tentative, confusing swings against Major. Now 2-1. Jones out of Utah, who has 6 hits in 14 at-bats in his last 3 games with the shift on. And the count 2 balls, 2 strikes. Now with the count 2-2, Barnett moves a little bit to the right side of second base. First baseman West way off the line. Aiden Major has retired the first 6 BYU batters. Middle of the second, West Virginia 1, BYU nothing. Well, Tyler and I with a chance to talk baseball before the game with Trent Pratt. Shifting for Kyle West, West Virginian from Hedgesville, batting .235 with a home run and 4 RBIs.
A lot of space down the third base line if he wants to lay down a bunt.
What's your philosophy about doing just that, Tyler?
If it's open, why not? If you can bunt, lay one down. I mean, you don't even have to run. You could walk up to first base.
1-0 West Virginia, bottom of the second, and the 1-1 pitch to West. Shows bunt. And takes a pitch inside. Kyle West hit his first home run as a Mountaineer on Sunday at Western Kentucky. West playing 2 years in Division II at the University of Charleston. Pitch up high, back to the padding.
Yeah, and West was a, West was a power hitter at Division II. A lot of home runs, and Randy Mazey, when he brought West on, thought that he could be that here, and he's starting to come into that now. It takes a little while to make that jump, but it looks like West is getting more comfortable at the plate.
West did hit 30 home runs for Charleston. Mountaineers, by the way, are going to Charleston real soon. 1 out, nobody on. 1-0 West Virginia leads. And Hansen's 3-2 pitch. Hansen off the mound, and he will take the play himself, 2 outs.
A perfect execution on Hansen's part. Anything bouncing in between the pitcher and the first baseman like that, it's the first baseman's ball unless the pitcher can catch it on the run. And if the pitcher can catch it on the run, then he just takes the bag. If not, the first baseman comes up and fields it and turns around and flips it to the pitcher.
Who, if he doesn't field the batted ball, needs to continue that route. Now Tyler Cox, one of the 7 left-handed batters. Cox just 2 for 12 this year from Westbury, New York. And takes a pitch inside, ball 1. So Sauve's not catching today. Logan Sauve not catching. White is. Cox getting a chance in the outfield. That is a swing, ruled by the home plate umpire. Count 1-1. Mountaineers play Marshall at the Gomart Ballpark in Charleston, West Virginia on Tuesday. This is game 1 of 3. Outside. Single game scheduled for tomorrow, single game on Saturday. Though there has been some talk about playing 2 tomorrow because the forecast is not good for Saturday. 2-1 pitch. 2-2. Hansen, his last outing, February the 29th, 5 innings, 2 hits, a no decision against Gonzaga. He walked 5 batters in that game. Pitch is high, according to Trent Pratt. Hansen has a fastball in the range of 92, 95. Good changeup, curve, and he's full count on Tyler Cox.
See,
2-out walk.
You talk to Trent Pratt about his pitcher. What I like to do, I like to talk to the other team's hitting coach. Hey, what kind of scout do you have on this pitcher? Well, Steve Savins gave me the exact same answer. He said, yeah, he's got a fastball about 92, 93, a slider, but he's great with a changeup. He can throw his changeup to either side of the plate, and he's confident with it.
Now Aaron Jamison from Morgantown. And Jamison first ball chasing. Center fielder Herdsman. West Virginia's second reads like this. No runs, no hits, a walk, and 1 left after 2 in the first game of the Big 12 season of 2024. West Virginia leads 1-0. Watkins leads off for the Cougars. Watkins batting .257 out of Pleasant Grove, Utah. In the past, with 9 teams, each team played everybody else 3 games, and that came to a total of 24 games in conference play. But this year, each of the 13 teams will play 10 of the other 12 for a total of 30 conference games. Bottom third of the batting order. 0-2 pitch. Underhand toss from Major. 1 away in the third. And because of the way the schedule's set up, it means that each school will not play 2 other schools. Here are the later dates for BYU. After this weekend, next weekend, home to Houston. BYU will not be playing University of Central Florida and not playing TCU. And TCU won the 2023 Phillips 66 Big 12 championship.
And so that's only 1 trip to the Eastern time zone for BYU this year. Get it out, get it over with early.
That's right. Now there are 2 schools in the Eastern time zone for the Big 12. 0-2 on Robinson from Cedar Hills, Utah. Brother Ryder, baseball, TCU. Ball fouled out of play. 0-2. So Aiden Major is trying to construct his 10th consecutive scoreless inning. And the strikeout of Robinson, 3rd strikeout for Major. 2 down in the 3rd.
Yeah, Major able to elevate that fastball, get it up above Robinson's hands. There's really not much that you can do with that as a hitter.
Now Hawaiian Painter, who was 1 for 5 this year, has 1 hit, a double.
You know, I was just thinking that Cincinnati's over here in the.
Oh, that's right now. Oh,
so
yes, 3.
Only, I don't know, Cincinnati's maybe going to BYU this year. We'll have to check that.
Cincinnati's at, yes. Are they going to BYU?
No, BYU is, yes, BYU is hosting Cincinnati May 9th through the 11th. So, yeah, only 1 trip to the East Coast. Base
hit to right field after Major had retired the first 8 batters. 1-0 West Virginia leads.
Major probably got caught up in our conversation up here and
Oh, yeah?
Lost track of what he was doing down there.
The top of the order for Anderson. The other games in the Big 12 for this weekend start tomorrow. We'll run Friday, Saturday, Sunday, weather permitting. Fly ball, right field line. Lumsden over. And it is a foul ball. And the count, no balls, 1 strike. This 1-0 West Virginia lead. Former Pirates broadcaster Bob Prince used to often use the expression as close as a gnat's eyelash. And that is the means by which West Virginia has the 1-0 lead.
I mean, it might be even slimmer than that. I'm not jealous of this umpiring staff at all, because that was one of the tougher calls that I've seen. Usually on replay you can go, oh, okay, yeah, it's this, it's that. We've seen multiple replays and we still don't know.
Fly ball into right field. And out number 3. So Majors retired 9 of the first 10. The team from Monongalia Ballpark. And now for the bottom of the 3rd is Ben Hansen and Aiden Major wrapped up in a good pitcher's ball game. We're going to attempt to connect with Trent Pratt. Head coach of the Cougars. Spencer Barnett hitting 158. Two balls and a strike. And the count 3-1 for Hansen so far through 2 innings. He's given up 2 hits, 1 run, walked a batter. And a leadoff walk for Barnett. Okay, play manager for me. You bunt here?
Yes. Yes, absolutely.
I do too. What are the fun things about baseball? You sit back as a fan or as a broadcaster and guess along.
And it honestly is a guess, because you have no idea what somebody's going to do at any point in time. Whether tendencies point that way or not, you don't know.
And sometimes the throws to first base are intended by the other team to try to see if the hitter will give away the bunt.
Yeah, 98% of the time, your catcher is going to call that so he can see if the batter is going to break hands to bunt.
Outside ball 1.
But there's also you know, kind of a little managerial rule that if it's a walk, you wait to see what they're going to do. If they throw another ball, hey, let's see if they walk 2 guys, then we'll bunt them over to second and third.
Strike called. Throw to first base. Count 1-1.
Now that there's a strike on the batter, now maybe you go. You've got 1 pitch now to try to get a bunt down.
Third baseman Jones even with third. Well, even a step back of the base path on that left side of the infield. Now creeping in. And once again a throw to first base, and some close plays on these pickup attempts by Hansen, and literally trying to keep Barnett close to the vest.
Yeah, the closer he can keep him to first base, the better chance, better opportunity they have to get the lead runner at second on a bunt back to the pitcher.
1-1 pitch. Hit well to center field. Caught at the wall at the yellow line. Out number 1. And hustling back is Barnett.
Just an unbelievable play by Herdsman. The range back and have the timing to jump up and make that play, and then a great read by Barnett, too, to be standing on second base whenever that play was made, so that whenever he does catch the ball, he can go back to first base and not have to touch second base again on his way back.
Yes, indeed. Riker Herdsman comes up with a top shelf play for the first out of the bottom of the third. 1-0 West Virginia leads. King singled in the first and scored, and a balk. Well, his move's been impressive. Couple of close calls in the attempt to pick off Barnett, and the first base umpire, David Condon, calls the balk. Into shallow left field. And left fielder Anderson gets there for the second out. Holding at second base, Barnett. 1-0 West Virginia lead. Now number 3 hitter Sam White to step in.
Back-to-back tough plays by the BYU outfielders.
Yeah, with the shortstop, Watkins playing behind second base, he couldn't get there.
That ball was in no man's land, and Luke Anderson comes on to make that play. I mean, Riker Herdsman making the leaping grab to save probably what would have been a triple or more on Brody Kresser's play, on Brody Kresser's hit, and then Luke Anderson making that play. Ben Hansen's got to be very, very happy with his defense right now.
Outside to run the count to 2-0. And the count is now high ball 3. Here's the 3-0 pitch. Strike call 3-1. Trent, very quickly, thanks for joining us.
Yeah.
Your right-hander Hansen, great defense behind him, and your thoughts about him.
Yeah, he's doing a good job. Just, unfortunately, we walked the leadoff guy. That, sometimes that hurts you, but hopefully we can, make a pitch and get out of it right here.
Outside. Trent, we've talked a lot about that play in the bottom of the first inning. Evidently, you felt that there was no question that King scored on the reverse double play.
Yeah, I thought I was watching it pretty close. I was trying to scream to Cooper to throw it home because I saw him break. I thought if we touch it back and throw it home, we'd double play that way. But yeah, it looked like he got in there for where I was looking at. One
final question. Your thoughts about BYU's first game of the Big 12 today?
Man, so far so good. He's got, Ben kind of walks. I've heard him a little bit. He's got to start throwing more strikes, keep his pitch count down.
All right, Trent, thank you.
Appreciate it, guys.
Lumsden takes ball 1, runners at first and second, 2 outs. Once again, the shift is on. 3 infielders on the right side of second base. By the way, one other thing to point out, since we've been talking a lot about the run of the first inning, remember, King reached base when the shortstop Watkins tried to make a diving stop of a ground ball, play that second baseman Robinson probably could have made. Line drive right at vest. No runs, no hits, couple of walks, 2 left on. And we have played 3. West Virginia 1, Brigham Young University 0. And the third base coach for the Cougars is Adam Law, who is the son of former major leaguer Vance Law. As Ellis Garcia leads off, I spent a good bit of time traveling with Vance Law as Vance played for the Pirates, and I was Proud to be announcing Pirate Baseball, and also Adam Law is the grandson of Vernon Law, one of the truly great pitchers in Pittsburgh Pirate history. Ball fouled away. Been a while since I've had a chance to talk with Vance. If he's tuned in today, my best wishes to him. You know, one of the things that you needed to know as a Pirate broadcaster was the story about how Vernon Law and his roots in Utah, he was known as the Deacon, and the fact that he and his wife Vanita, Vernon and Vanita, named all 6 of their children with first names that started with the letter V, as Garcia becomes the first out of the 4th inning. Belden, Verrill, Vaughn, Varlin, Valinda, and Vance, the 6 children of Vanita and Vernon Law. I said Garcia, excuse me, as Herdsman strikes out and becomes the 4th strikeout of the game for Aiden Major.
What was it that Adam told us down there? They had, what, 7 children?
Six children.
6
for
children.
Vernon and Vanita, yeah.
All of them starting with a V.
Right.
What was the dog's name?
Oh, that's right.
Is Victor or something?
Victor, yeah.
Stay on brand. It's just stay on brand. Keep it going.
2-1 on Reuter after the strikeout of Herdsman. 1, 2, 3, 4 strikeouts now for Aiden Major. Straightaway center. Now King got turned around, but just shy of the track makes the catch. 2 down in the 4th.
Stepping up to the plate for BYU, number 7, Cooper Vest.
Cooper Vest, who had a 2-home-run game May of last year against Pepperdine. Vest was just 2 for 22 in his first 6 games of the year, but now the last 6 games he's 8 for 19. And when we asked Trent Pratt about that, head coach of the Cougars said just unlucky. He was hitting the ball well early, but not getting his hits.
And I mean, his spot in the lineup tells you how much confidence this BYU staff has in him. That, you know, okay, yeah, he's struggling, but let's keep putting him there. He's valuable to us in the middle of the lineup.
Just the second base runner of the game for BYU.
And it's just the 6th walk for Aiden Major all year in what did that be, 21 innings pitched.
BYU has just 4 stolen bases in its first 11 games. When Tyler and I talked to Randy Mazey today and asked for a scouting report on Major, fastball, slider, changeup, added a cutter, and the success that he's enjoyed early this year with an earned run average of 250 coming into the game. Randy Mazey saying that Major's been attacking hitters, he's been throwing strikes, and that he's out to prove something.
Yeah, and like we said earlier, you know, we talked to Randy Mazey, but one of the first things that I asked Coach Pratt was, hey, what's your scout on Aiden Major? And he said he's really solid Big 12 early weekend starter. He's got a great fastball, slider, changeup. You know, we learned from Coach Mazey that he developed a cutter recently. But one of the things that Coach Pratt said is if we can get him into the middle part of the plate, I think we can be successful.
So Aiden Major has now put together 11 consecutive scoreless innings, and West Virginia leads BYU 1-0. Season poll with West Virginia number 6. Garcia leads off the bottom of the 4th inning, 1-0 game. And the only run of the game scored in the bottom of the 1st inning. King just got his toes to the plate before the ending reverse double play. And the count 1-1 strike now on Garcia. Ben Hansen, through 3 innings, has allowed 1 run on 2 hits. Breaking ball away in the count 2-2. Count remains at 2 balls, 2 strikes.
I have been really impressed with Hansen's ability to climb back up into the count. He's gotten into a couple of almost made a play like Breaker Herdsman out in center field. But his ability to climb back into the count, he's gotten behind a couple of batters and he's been able to get back to even. That's kind of your goal as a pitcher, is to get to even, either stay ahead, get to even, but once you get to that point, you've got to try to win your even counts.
The 2-2 pitch driven to right. And Painter handles the first out of the 4th inning today with this game. And then tomorrow, Cincinnati at Kansas State, TCU at Kansas, Texas at Texas Tech, University of Central Florida at Oklahoma, and Baylor at Houston. 0-2 on West. That pitch was meant to be outside. Catcher Reuter had set up off the plate. 1-2. One ball, 2 strikes, 1 out. 1-0 West Virginia, 4th inning. West playing first base. Grant Hussey missing his 3rd straight game. And the first strikeout of the game recorded by Ben Hansen.
Yeah, and he got ahead of Kyle West, starting him off.
West Virginia is playing out of conference next weekend, hosting the Buckeyes of Ohio State. Count 1 ball, 1 strike. Ben Hansen, Californian, against Aiden Major from the state of Pennsylvania. Pretty much matching numbers today. Base hit just by the diving second baseman Robinson. 2-out single for Tyler Cox.
Yeah, and that's exactly whenever we talk to the West Virginia coaching staff today. What are you telling your hitters? Don't chase anything low. Early in the count, Hansen's going to try to go low and get you to ground out. As the game has gone on, Hansen has started to elevate some pitches, and you saw that one right there. Elevated a little bit, and Cox was able to drive it into center field.
Runner going. Pitch a strike. Out at second. Shortstop Watkins applies the tag. No runs, 1 hit. Between the Mountaineers and the Marshall Thundering Herd. The game at 7 o'clock on Tuesday of next week at the Go-Mart Ballpark in Charleston, West Virginia. Can't make it to the game? Make sure you log on and watch the Mountaineers and the Thundering Herd on ESPN Plus. As Easton Jones leads off and drives it into left center field. Left fielder Cox makes the catch, 1 away. So Trent Pratt, who took over as the head coach late in 2022, by the way, Trent and his wife Doris have 6 children. They have twin girls, Morgan and Marley, who are volleyball players at Weber State. And Watkins hitting early in the count. And quite quickly, 2 outs in the top of the 5th. By the way, Trent's wife, Doris, owns a volleyball club. Doris played volleyball at Arizona State. But their children, Morgan and Marley, the twin girls, then Brooks, 8th grader, plays baseball, football, basketball. Daughter Tess is a 6th grader, volleyball player. Then Blake is a 3rd grader. And then their youngest is Tug. And of course, knowing that Trent Pratt played in the Phillies organization, I had to ask him, did you and your wife name your 6th child after Tug McGraw? And the answer is no, not really. Apparently, Trent Pratt played at Auburn with a guy named Tug Hewlett. And that Tug was named after Tug. So there you go.
It always comes from somewhere.
Robinson out of UC San Diego last couple of years. And count 2-1. What a job these starting pitchers have done today. 2-2.
Honestly, the 2 different styles too. You know, Aiden Major's a power pitcher. He's going to work fast, and he's going to try to get on top of you with his fastball. Where Hansen's kind of a pace guy. He's gonna make you work at his pace, and he's going to throw his changeup in any count. So he's going to try to get you out on your front foot and leaning away. That way, if you make contact, it's weak contact to an infielder.
2 down, 1-0 West Virginia leads, top of the 5th inning. And the 2-2 pitch. Garcia makes the catch. I'm going to wait for a while. If I'm not back, cover for. And for Hansen, here's a fresh start for Aaron Jamison. Jamison was in the batter's box when Cox was caught stealing, ending the 4th inning. So the string now for Major is 12 consecutive innings. Major did give up a run in the last inning that he pitched against Charlotte 2 starts ago. And then the 7 scoreless innings against Western Kentucky on the 1st of March. And Hansen's trailing 1-0 only because of maybe an inch. And the sliding catch by right fielder Painter. So the fine defensive work continues to shine behind Hansen.
I think Hansen owes his outfield a great dinner tonight. It's on him, because they have gotten him out of some situations, and you know, this isn't the inning where you want to have a leadoff runner on base.
Hey, let's check in with Randy Mazey. Randy, your thoughts about Aiden Major?
Well, my thoughts are 5 zeros. That's exactly what we needed him to do right now. Is just his pitch counts down. He's attacking the strike zone and has limited base runners, so he's killing it.
Yeah, on the other side, Hansen has been able to control your hitters, kind of get them into his pace. How do you think you can disrupt that?
Well, I don't know. Both teams have gotten some really good swings off. You know, we've hit balls to the fence and line drives right at them, and they've done the same thing. So don't let 1-0 fool you. These are two pretty good hitting teams right here.
Randy, thank you for joining us.
Thanks, guys.
Count 2-2 on Barnett. And a full count. The only run of the game scored in the first inning, as Skylar King was able to get across the plate just before the reverse double play and the final out at second base on a tag play. Ball 4. So Barnett walks for the second time. Randy Mazey, who has announced that this will be his final year, turning the reins over to Steve Sabins. Randy and his wife Amanda have 2 children. Their son Weston, better known as Whammer, is an 11th grader, and their daughter Sierra is a 10th grader.
And both great hockey players at that.
Strike called. As Kresser from Jessup, Iowa, played a couple years for Des Moines Community College. Homered at Stenson for his first West Virginia home run. Throw to first base, and Barnett back safely.
And Kresser's been a great addition for the Mountaineers. You know, you bring in an infielder, and you've got guys like J.J. Weatherholt and Ellis Garcia who have kind of anchored that infield, but you know, Weatherholt gets hurt, and now, you know, we've got to try to find some guys to fill the gap. Well, Kresser stepped in, and, you know, it's been seamless, and he's been effective at the plate also.
And we have a call against the clock to make the count 2-1. Up high, 3-1. I've seen West Virginia runners doing a lot of bluffing on the bases today.
Yeah, what that does, the catcher can see that out of the corner of his eye. So a lot of times, if it thinks a runner's going, it's going to get him out of his stance and up into a throwing position that, you know, a lot of times might make the umpire think that the pitch was high or that the pitch is out of the zone.
You know, Kresser found the opening with the second baseman Robinson, shaded towards second base, and the right-handed batter drives one and loops it into right field.
Yeah, and that's, you know, top of the order coming through with a hit there. It's almost as if, you know, walking Barnett there as the 9-hitter, it almost kind of feels like a leadoff walk, because now you've gotten to the top of the lineup with a runner on base.
Skylar King, 1 for 2, has the game's only run. Ball game in the bottom of the 5th inning. Throw to second. Safe. Ever so close. By the way, catcher Reuter had a couple of options there. He could have gone to second or to first.
I mean, that was perfectly executed all around. We've had a lot of close plays today.
Bunted. Base hit, bases loaded.
Just a perfectly laid bunt there by King. out of the catcher's reach. The pitcher's not able to come over and make that play. The third baseman has to throw across his body and deliver a perfect throw to the first baseman with a little bit of get up on it, and that's a really hard play to make. And honestly, I mean, the saving play there was Vest coming off of first base to catch that ball, make sure it doesn't, you know, turn into a wild throw and score a couple of runs.
So pitching coach Abe Alvarez out of Long Beach State goes to the mound. By the way, Abe was on the 2004 Red Sox team that won the World Series. And now with the bases loaded and activity in the bullpen. And they're all jam-packed for Sam White. 1-0 West Virginia leads. Oh, great pitch there. Oh, what a dandy pitch that was.
A back foot breaking ball. When you know that Sam White's eager to get something over the heart of the plate, take a little bit of speed off of it, make it move, make it fall right onto his back foot, and he can't do anything with it.
Right there again.
And then you come back with a fastball just dotted at the knees, inside corner. That way, you know, now you're changing speeds, and he's kind of sat back on that breaking ball. There's no chance that he can hit that fastball.
Well, we are at a very pivotal point of the ball game. Bases loaded, 1 out. And the 0-2 pitch. Looped into left center field. Drops in. Barnett scores 2-0 West Virginia. Kresser scores 3-0 Mountaineers. King to second as White delivers a 2-run single in the bottom of the 5th inning.
And that was that changeup that we've been talking about. Hansen very comfortable throwing that to a left-handed hitter because it falls away from a lefty. But this time, White was able to get on that ball, stay on it, and drive it out into a gap and score a couple of runs.
One out. 4 consecutive West Virginia batters reaching base safely.
Lumsden grinding into that double play in the first, and a line drive to the first baseman in the third.
And now 1-1. So both times he's gone right up that first base line corridor.
Right down the line, and you can see that, you know, Vest is playing close to the bag. He's not giving a whole lot of room behind first base. So, you know, with the shift that way, it looks like Hansen's been throwing Lumsden outside, when the first 2 at-bats he's thrown him inside and gotten him to hit into the shift.
Talked to Ben before the game. He told me his father Todd was going to be here today. Lumsden played the University of Texas Arlington last year. 3-2. West Virginia leads 3-0, bottom of the 5th inning.
Wouldn't be surprised to see some movement here from the Mountaineers in a 3-2 count. Try to pull an infielder out of position, and I think Hansen was feeling the same way. Step off and try to reset everything.
Runner at second is King. White at first. And now the bases are reloaded. And Hansen walked 5 batters when he had his no decision against Gonzaga a week ago, and he's walked 5 in this game. 3-0 Mountaineers. Garcia has twice fly to right field. And ball one.
So Hansen's creeping up on 90 pitches here in the bottom of the 5th. I'd imagine they've probably got Mason Olson out in the pen, probably matching Hansen pitch for pitch.
King, the runner at third. White at second. Lumsden at first. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Garcia. Ellis Garcia coming into this game with a 7-game hitting streak, but 0 for 2 so far today. Garcia, in 53 at-bats this year, has struck out only 6 times.
And Garcia's been a key piece to this Mountaineer team since he arrived on campus last year. You know, we talked to Coach Maisie before the game about him, and you know, he settled back into that shortstop role the last couple of games, moved to third today, which is where he spent most of the year last year, and it kind of seems wherever you put him, he's comfortable.
Ball looped into right field, dropping in. King scores 4-0 Mountaineers. Everybody else moving up 90 feet. White to third, Lumsden to second as Garcia makes it a 4-0 ball game with the single to right.
So yeah, Garcia's comfortable playing short, he's comfortable playing third, and he's comfortable in the box in a pressure situation. 2 strikes, bases loaded, able to get barrel on that baseball and drive in a run.
And so pitching coach Alvarez goes out to take Hansen out of the ball game. Ben Hansen pitching 4 1/3 innings and checking out in place of the left-hander. 4-0 West Virginia.
He's pitched 14 innings so far on the year, and he's had 15 strikeouts. So Coach Pratt trusts Mason Olson, especially in a situation. This is crucial for BYU to collect at least an out here.
West with a drive to right center field. White scores 5-0 West Virginia. Lumsden scores 6-0 Mountaineers. The ball trickled in towards third. Garcia gets there safely. 2-run single for West.
It's a great piece of hitting by West, and you know, one of the things whenever you get a new pitcher is he's going to try to establish his strike zone, but West doesn't even give him the chance. He jumps on that fastball and drives it into a gap.
Six 6-0 West Virginia, and the 9th batter of the inning is Tyler Cox.
You know, we talked about Ellis Garcia being able to jump into different places on the infield for the Mountaineers. A great base running there, too, to be able to get to third base with 1 out. Now a fly ball will give you another run. A ground ball anywhere that doesn't turn into a double play could potentially score another run as well.
And it looks like catcher Reuter was shaken up on that last pitch. BYU playing in Morgantown for the first time ever. And this is the first game of the Big 12 baseball season. By the way, BYU won at UNLV the other day, and so the Cougars flew out of Vegas, flew to St. Louis, and then to Pittsburgh. Bunt, safety squeeze was on, and a called strike.
even if you don't do anything there, it's good, especially early in the series, to see what kind of rotations you get out of the infield.
Count a ball and 2 strikes. So after the first out of the inning, the Jamison fly ball to right. 7 consecutive West Virginia batters have reached safely. And it is ruled a swing by the third base umpire, and it becomes the second out of the inning. Mason Olson, who was 5-3 with BYU last year.
Number 26, Nick Barone, hitting for West Virginia.
And Nick Barone will be the batter with runners at first and third and 2 outs. Batting for Jamison. Jamison, who had been the designated hitter. And ball fouled at the plate. West Virginia has scored 5 runs in this inning to take the 6-0 lead. While on the other side of the card, Aiden Major has pitched a 1-hit shutout through 5 innings. And the count 0-2. Nick Barone, who, by the way, hit the last grand slam in West Virginia history, did so at Baylor late April of last year. Runner at first going, pitch low and inside, and West gets second base uncontested.
That was a really good pitch by Olson, a sweeping breaking ball that was back foot to Barone, and Barone was able to lay off of it. That's a strikeout pitch. And then he follows that up with a 2-seam fastball on the outer half. So a ball from a lefty to a righty, a slider coming in at your back foot. So a ball moving toward you with lessened speed to a ball moving quicker away from you. Wouldn't be surprised at all to see that sweeping breaking ball come back in underneath the hands. There it is.
So Barone becomes the final out of the inning, but West Virginia tacks on 5 runs and leads 6-0 over BYU after 5 innings. Here to face the number 9 batter in the BYU order, Painter. Painter has the only BYU hit in the game. Redshirt freshman out of Hawaii. For Painter, 1 walk, given up 1 hit. He struck out 4. So for the year, 23 innings, 25 strikeouts. Aiden Major. And a full count.
This is Major. That was Major's first full count of the day. And this is the first at-bat that he's thrown over 5 pitches. He's only at 62 now, 62 pitches for the game. So Painter doing a good job of trying to see him a little bit deeper in the count, make him throw some pitches, and hopefully get into the West Virginia bullpen.
One away.
Next up for BYU, number 11, Luke Anderson.
Luke Anderson to step in. Anderson, 6 RBIs in the last 4 games coming into this game. Had a 4 RBI game against Gonzaga last Friday. And gets the overshifts. The right-handed batter standing in. Anderson, who had Tommy John surgery in September of 21. Fair ball. Second hit of the game for BYU. And Anderson, the 1-out single in the top of the 6th.
Anderson couldn't have placed that any better. Kind of got that ball off the cap of the bat, but put it right inside the left field foul line for a double.
Next up, Riker Hertzman.
Now Riker Hertzman, who has turned in the game's best play in the field. He went to the wall and had his glove up by that yellow line in deep center field to make the catch on the ball that Kresser hit in the 3rd inning. 6-0 West Virginia, top of the 6th inning. And the count 0-2. A pitch down in on the right-handed batter. Major from Mill Hall, Pennsylvania. Northern part of the state. Kind of 1 county over from Williamsport. Counts 0-2 on Hertzman. Skylar King drifting to right center. And 2 outs, and Anderson easily moves up to 3rd.
Yeah, we talked about Aiden Major developing a cutter in the offseason this year. We just saw it there, an 85-mile-an-hour cutter on the outer half to a righty. And you could just, it's not as fast as your fastball. It's not as slow as your slider. It's just right there in between, but it's got that sharp outer movement that was key right there. It just missed the barrel of Hertzman, and you could kind of hear the cap of the bat crack there on that fly ball to the outfield.
Reuter over 2 in the game. Runner at 3rd, Anderson. First Cougar to have touched 3rd base in this game. As a matter of fact, first Cougar to be in scoring position in this game.
And that was the first extra base hit on either side today.
Count 2-2.
Mountaineers with a few singles, a couple of walks. That was the first extra base hit of the day. A lot of firsts today. First time Mountaineers and the Cougars square off. The first series of the year. The first Big 12 series for BYU. And now their first Big 12 double.
Runner at 3rd, 2 down. 6-0 West Virginia, 6th inning. Strikeout. Gubler will be facing hitters 9, 1, and 2 in the bottom of the 6th. Spencer Barnett has walked twice. He has scored a run.
On the hill for BYU.
Count goes to 3-1. West Virginia scored a run in the bottom of the first and tacked on 5 more runs in the 5th. And leadoff walk, so the 3rd free pass for Barnett.
Brody Cresser now batting for West Virginia.
And Brody Cresser to stand in. Cresser 1 for 3. Almost hit one out back in the 3rd. Hey, you want to thank Duff Tittle from the BYU Sports Information Department for his help. Had a really wonderful conversation with him yesterday as he filled me in on the Cougars baseball team. And when you have a name like Duff Tittle, it is natural that you'd say to him, "Are you related to YA in any way?" Here's the 0-2 pitch now to Cresser, and good sharp breaking ball one away. By the way, Duff tells me that his brother Matt about 15 years ago did some investigating and did connect with YA's daughter, and apparently they're very distantly related. By the way, younger partner, you do know who Y.A. Tittle was, correct?
No, I'll have to look it up.
You do not, huh?
No, I don't.
How about that, Monty, huh? Pitch is outside on King, who is 2 for 3. Singleton scored in the 1st, bunt base hit, and a run scored in the 5th inning. Runner going. And the opening was there for King's 3rd hit of the game. Runners at 1st and 3rd as Barnett navigates his way around to the front door.
I mean, you kind of saw it happening, you know, with Gubler having a longer delivery to the plate. Barnett was able to expand his lead, and then when he tried to take second there, I don't know if it was a designed hit and run or just perfect execution by King, but he was able to hit where the defense had vacated.
Perfect day for White. He is 2 for 2 plus a walk. Bunting. Sam White is going to, well, he now has 12 RBIs on the year. (6-0) West Virginia, 6th inning. Barnett and King, the running mates. Runner at first going, swing and a miss, and a bluff throw to second. So King picks up his 9th stolen base of the year.
I'm surprised that Reuter didn't try to initiate contact there. White with a big swing, pulling himself over the plate, and even if you're going to deke that throw, maybe try to make contact and see if you can get that runner at second back to first base.
Now the strikeout of White, by the way, just before that pitch, BYU brought its infield in, and it had to, down 6-0 in the 6th inning, but now the middle infielders can relax a little bit with 2 outs. So Gubler has recorded a couple of strikeouts. And Ben Lumsden 0 for 2, plus a walk and a run scored. And strike one.
The defense back into the shift on Lumsden. Shortstop over to the right-hand side of second base. And Gubler throwing that breaking ball inside, trying to get him to ground into the shift.
For Gubler, his second appearance of the year. Coming out as the third BYU pitcher of the game. Three strikeouts recorded in the inning by Gubler. West Virginia's bottom of the sixth reads like this: no runs, one hit, two left on base. To the seventh we go. West Virginia flying solo. A couple of booths to our left. As Cooper Vest leads off, he's 0 for 1 in the game plus a walk. And what a story Aiden Major is writing. He certainly is deserving of the front page bold type. Fly ball hit well to right field. And just like that, BYU gets on the board with Vest's 4th home run of the year.
Yeah, Vest able to just sit on this fastball on the inner half and find barrel and put it into the parking lot.
So the string has ended, a streak of 13 consecutive scoreless innings, authored by Major.
I mean, that's exactly what you want to do. When you get to a 2-0 count, you look for the pitch that you want. Your strike zone or your hitting zone shrinks, and I think that's exactly the pitch that Vest was wanting.
Fly ball in a shallow right. So the long and the short of it, the Vest home run and then the Eloy single. (6-1) West Virginia leads. And Easton Jones
You know, when we talked to Trent Pratt early, he said that Cooper Vest was kind of struggling of late, and that's how you get your swing back.
Ball off the wall in left center field. And because of the nature of the score, it turns out to be a single off the left center field wall.
Really not much that you can do as a runner there. You know, if that, you have to try to be standing maybe on second base, a lot like Spencer Barnett did earlier in the game whenever Herdsman made that play. And now you're kind of stuck at, you know, runners at first and second where you possibly could have had runners at second and third.
So Randy Mazey goes out to have a quick word with Major. First three batters of this inning have reached base. By the way, following up on what Tyler was just saying, Vest started 2 for 22 this year, but now he has 9 hits in his last 20 at bats, including the home run to lead off the top of the 7th inning.
Yeah, and I mean, it's really injected life into this BYU lineup. I mean, whenever you get one and you can string a couple of hits together, you know, a ball off the wall, a blooper in the right field, and now kind of getting into the head of Aiden Major and see what you could turn this inning into.
By the way, these situations, or this particular situation, important for the outfielders to remind themselves, base hit, I'm not going to try to get the runner at the plate. I want to do everything I can to keep the double play in order.
Yeah, this is one of those situations where, as a coach, you tell your outfielders no doubles. You don't want to give up anything over your head in this situation. The runner on second doesn't really matter, but if you can reduce the amount of total bases that you're giving up per hit, then you stand a better chance.
1-2 pitch. Left fielder Cox. And the runners will have to stay put. Malloy at second and Jones at first, 1 out.
Next up for BYU, number 5, Crew Robinson.
And brings up Crew Robinson.
When you can get that out as Aiden Major, you take a deep breath. That first out feels important, because now if you can roll yourself a ground ball, you're out of the inning, not a whole lot of damage done.
6-1 West Virginia leads. Hit batsman and the bases are loaded. Randy Mazur walked towards the home plate umpire to quick conversation there. Bases loaded, 1 out. And the number 9 hitter Painter, who is 1 for 2. Seventh inning. West Virginia scored a run in the first, 5 runs in the fifth. BYU tacking a run up here in the 7th on the leadoff home run by Vest. Oh, and 2.
And West Virginia with a late shift. Brody Kresser getting over on the right-hand side of second base in between pitches there. Probably be a good opportunity here with the last couple of pitches. Maybe see that cutter on the inner half for Major.
Out number 2. Strikeout number 6.
Looked like a 2-seam fastball out after coming in with that cutter inside. Great way to change the eyes of Painter.
Outside Anderson doubled in the 6th. Luke Anderson, what a game he had early April last year against San Francisco. 5 hits, including 2 doubles, 3 home runs, and 6 RBIs. That's a whole lot of total bases.
It's a season for some guys.
Now 1-1 on Luke Anderson. Bases loaded, 2 outs. One and 2.
You can kind of see Major getting into a groove here. An interesting thing here, though, on this shift, Mountaineers shifted to the left side of the infield. The first baseman kind of in no man's land out there. Hopefully a ground ball he can get back in time.
Major 9-2 in his career at West Virginia with 2 saves. 2-0 this year. Bases loaded, 2 outs, the 1-2 pitch. Fly ball to right field. Tracked down by Lumsden. BYU gets the home run from Vest. 7th inning stretch. Ellis Garcia to lead off. Garcia now with an 8-game hitting streak. You know, Tyler, we've commented about the injuries particularly the injury that has sidelined J.J. Weatherholt now for a 10th consecutive game. And I know it's, it's quite common for coaches to say, well, I want to deal with the guys that I've got available, et cetera, et cetera. But don't, in my opinion anyways, there's a drive by Ellis Garcia to left field. Home run. Garcia's first of the year, fourth of his career, and West Virginia leads 7-1.
Yeah, Ellis Garcia being able to take advantage of getting into the BYU bullpen and driving that ball pretty much into the BYU bullpen.
West Virginia.
7-1, seventh inning. And ball one. But anyways, following up on my point, it is really quite something to try to replace a guy like J.J. Weatherholt.
It is. It's difficult, but one of the things about this Mountaineer team is guys are comfortable playing just about anywhere. So a guy like Ben Lumsden is able to go out and play right field, and a guy like Sam White, who's been playing in left field for most of the year, is now your catcher. And Ellis Garcia, who played at third base last year and has seen some time at short this year, has moved back to third this game. And it's something to say about this Mountaineer squad of, hey, wherever you guys need me, wherever I can be of help, that's where I'm going to go.
Now Cox, who is 1 for 2. J.J. Weatherholt was named the Big 12 preseason player of the year. What a spectacular campaign he had in 2023, doing so much to lead the Mountaineers to a tie for the regular season championship. Michael Peraza is in the on-deck circle getting ready to bat as a pinch hitter. Well, Garcia now. Alex Garcia, 12 for 31 in the 8-game hitting streak. Three and two on Cox. Ball blooped into center field. Second hit of the game for Tyler Cox. And the pinch hitter Peraza in the spot, the designated hitter spot. Jamison was 0 for 2. Barone, a pinch hit at bat in the 5th inning. Seventh inning, West Virginia leads 7-1.
So West Virginia going with the lefty hitter on righty starting pitcher to start the game. Then whenever BYU went to Mason Olson, the left-handed pitcher, then they took that DH spot and flipped that to a righty. And now that we've got a righty back in, the Mountaineers are going back to a lefty.
Runner at first on the move. Fly ball to left field. Anderson's got it. Second out. Cox back to first. And Spencer Barnett, who is 0 for 0 today. He has walked 3 times. West Virginia 7 and BYU 1. 1 ball, 1 strike. Runner going. And the head first slide, and the ball trickles into the shallow center field, but Robinson backing up the play on the stolen base for Cox.
Cox just able to get a good jump here, and a breaking ball low makes that throw hard on Reuter. And it just gives you a runner in scoring position here and a favorable count for your hitter.
And Gubler's 2-1 pitch coming. Base hit to left field. Following up on what Tyler Barnett just said, table was set for Barnett. And it's 8-1 West Virginia, and the young man from North Allegheny High School in Pittsburgh, Spencer Barnett, has been on base 4 times in the game.
Yeah, the
Mountaineers, second RBI.
Mountaineers have had great luck finding middle infielders from the Pittsburgh area. Spencer Barnett comes up big there. Fresh runner in scoring position, didn't waste any time and drove him in. Next pitch he saw.
Ball 1, Brody Kresser, 1 for 4. 8-1, West Virginia leading. Hit by pitch. Barnett to second, Kresser to first. And a couple of men on for Skylar King.
Skylar King 3 for 4 today. 2 runs scored. Going to give a minute here for Kresser. Looks like, I think he took that ball off of the inside of the right wrist.
A moment ago we showed you Jake Porter warming up. By the way, this is following up again on what Tyler was just saying. This is a good sign for Skylar, who was 1 for 16 last weekend against Western Kentucky. And so he comes back home and goes 3 for 4.
You know, they always say that basketball is a game of runs. You know, one team will go on a run and then you just got to kind of handle that run, and then the other team will go on a run. Baseball is a game of slumps. You know, if you can just handle your slump, find a way to break out of it, then, you know, eventually you're going to find yourself right back in the, you know, in the thick of things where you want to be, where you're comfortable.
Count 2-1 on Skylar King. 2 on, 2 runs in, and 2 outs. Left side of the infield. And ball drops out of the reach of Watkins. Barnett scores to make it 9-1 West Virginia. And Kresser ends up at third base.
It's the second ball that we've seen hit into that area with the infield shifted over to the right-hand side of second base. That's a long way to go. And then with a left-hander hitting that ball, just the way that King got out in front of it, it always drifts back toward the center of the field. So essentially, Watkins overruns it. So he didn't think he was going to be able to get to it. Well, then he overruns it and turns into BYU's first error of the game.
So Sam White bats with runners at the lines. Strike called. White 2 for 3 with 2 RBIs, 8th batter of the inning. Count 1-1.
You know, 1-1 count, wouldn't be at all surprised to maybe see King on the move here.
How about 2-1? Very popular pitch on which to run. King at first picked up his 8th stolen base of the year in the 6th inning.
Especially with 2 outs, if you can get King moving here, then you know you could probably get a 1st to 3rd situation out of an infield single, or you know, be able to score him easily from first on a double.
Now 3 balls and a strike on White. 9-1. West Virginia leads. We're in the bottom of the 7th inning. And the bases are loaded. And Coach Alvarez going out. So Lumsden bats with the bases loaded. Mountaineers against Ohio State next week. And then Oklahoma University, Oklahoma State. And the Mountaineers not playing the newcomers from the University of Houston or from Texas. Change at first base, a pinch runner for White.
Armani Guzman.
Number 5, Armani Guzman in to run.
So Guzman at first, King at second, Kresser at third. Check swing, foul ball.
Guzman from a little town called New York, New York.
Okay, spread the news then. One ball, one strike, bases loaded, 2 outs. To the shortstop, Watkins. It ends the inning, but West Virginia sends 9 men to the plate, 2 runs scored, including the home. Something that we saw a lot of from Traxel last year. Go the distance.
We talked to, when we were talking to Coach Mazey before the game, I asked him how long, if he had a leash on Major, how long he wanted him to go. He's like, well, if he can throw it today and tomorrow, that'd be great.
I've heard a lot of baseball people over the years indicate that they felt that how well their day was going to go was based on who their starting pitcher happened to be. Herdsman 0 for 3. Major 1 strikeout on the first, 1 on the second, 1 on the third, 1 on the fourth, 1 on the sixth, and 1 on the seventh. Total of 6. We'll make it 7.
Picked up number 7 on pitch 101. Looked like that newly developed cutter.
So is it fair to assume that Major's next start would be a week from tomorrow? Is that fair to assume against Ohio State? He'd get the Friday start against the Buckeyes in a non-conference game?
Yeah, get an extra day of rest. So, yeah, so you could probably extend his pitch count a little bit more today.
BYU's only run coming on the home run by Vest, who's in the on-deck circle. Line to center and bouncing past King. And Reuter around second. Stand-up triple.
Yeah, that's a tough read out there in center field by Skylar King. Ball hit low, kind of right at you, and just overplays it, and ball cuts back, gets past him, and rolls to the wall.
Hey, tell us a little bit here now about what you and Randy were talking about this new turf, because I kind of backed away from the conversation because I'm not very knowledgeable when it comes to turf.
Well, this turf was just put down, honestly, a couple of months ago. The Mountaineers just started practicing on it in February-ish, early February, late January. But anytime you get new turf, you know, the fibers are new, everything's a little bit tighter, and one of the things, it's not worn down, so it's not, you know, you don't have a lot of plays on it, you don't have a lot of sliding on it, you don't have your groomer going around on it a lot more, so it's slower. All new fields are slower, and you know, we kind of got to the point in the last couple of years here that, you know, as you know, I think we were 10 years in on that turf, it was playing really fast. I mean, you would see so many balls sneak through the infield. Now it's a brand new turf, so it plays a lot slower. It's an adjustment for the guys that played here last year.
Count 0-2 on Vest. Vest 4 home runs, 7 RBIs. Strikeout number 8 for Aiden Major. Cuyo Aloy 1 for 3. Aiden Major working in the 8th inning. Has 8 strikeouts. He's allowed 1 run on 6 hits. It is ruled a swing by the home plate umpire, Grady Smith. West Virginia leads 9-1 in the 8th inning.
I don't think Aiden Major wanted to throw that slider there. It's kind of he's going to come back with a fastball, probably inner half here. Try to throw it by Aloy, and Aloy got his hands inside of it and drove it out of the ballpark.
Well, if he didn't like the previous pitch, he certainly didn't like that pitch. That is, Major didn't, but certainly Aloy did. And the freshman from Maui has 4 home runs in the first 12 games for BYU.
Yeah, that was the exact same pitch that Aloy saw the first pitch of that at-bat. He swung out of his shoes and just barely missed it. And then Major went away with a slider, and then he just came right back inside. It almost looked like that was a cutter that came inside. And you know, if it's a 2-seam fastball, that probably gets underneath of his hands, but considering it came back, Aloy was able to barrel it up and drive it out of the ballpark.
So it's now West Virginia 9 and BYU 3. This ball is hit well to left field. Home run. Back-to-back shots by Aloy and Jones. 3 runs in the inning, 4 runs over the last 2 innings, and West Virginia's lead is 9-4.
That's just another pitch that Major left up in the zone. You know, the Cougars have been hunting for these pitches all game, but Major hasn't been giving them to him. He's been able to work low in the zone and been able to paint the corners, but the last couple of innings, he's been leaving pitches up, and it's led to a few home runs by BYU hitters.
Well, Randy Mazey out to the mound. He is going to stay with Major here in the 8th inning. Bullpen ready.
Number 2, Brock Watkins.
And now Brock Watkins, 9-4 West Virginia lead. Watkins 0 for 3. And the count 1-1.
So that was pitch 115 for Aiden Major. And pitch 114 came in at 95 miles an hour. So he's still feeling okay. Just maybe needs to gather himself here. Another fastball at 94. Coach Mazey probably told him, this is your last guy, go get him.
Two balls, 2 strikes, and 2 outs. 3 runs in for BYU in the top of the 8th inning. Trundle to Tresser. The inning is over. BYU scoring 3 runs on 3 hits. Back-to-back home runs from Malloy and Jones. Bottom of the 8th coming up. 9-4 West Virginia. New pitcher for BYU is Max Stanley, appearing for the 3rd time this year. Stanley, a freshman out of Parker, Colorado. Garcia, 2 for 4. Singled in the 5th, homered in the 7th. Eight-game hitting streak, 12 for 31 during the 8-game hitting streak. Three and 1. Stanley's the 5th pitcher for BYU. Leadoff walk.
Kyle West to the plate for West Virginia.
And Kyle West, 1 for 4. West now has a 5-game hitting streak.
Yeah, we talked to Randy Mazey before the game about West, and talked about the adjustment from Division II, University of Charleston, to Division I. And not only is it this Division I baseball, but this is high level Big 12 Division I baseball. So it's been a little bit of an adjustment for him, but West is starting to come into his own and get a little bit more comfortable in the box.
Count 1-1. So the Mountaineers with a run on the 1st, 5 in the 5th, 3 in the 7th. BYU a run in the 7th and 3 in the 8th, 3 in the top of this 8th inning. Count 3-1. Full count. One on.
And West was sitting on a fastball dead center there. He just missed it. Definitely don't want to come in as a freshman and give up back-to-back walks.
Runner going, swing and a miss, strike three, and a stolen base. Stolen base and an error, putting Garcia at third base. Strikeout of West, the first out of the inning.
That's a tough play to make for your shortstop. First off, he's coming from a strange angle, being on the right-hand side of the base, but then he gets to the bag and stops, and then the ball kind of tails like it's a two-seam away from really not much that he could do there.
Tyler Cox, 2 for 3 in the game. With the infield drawn in, this ball popped into left field, shallow left. Catch made by Anderson, and Garcia holds his ground, 2 down. Bottom of the 8th inning, West Virginia 9 and BYU 4.
Anderson's had a few plays like that where he's had to come in from deep left field to make a play just on the back side of the infield.
And now Michael Peraza. Peraza as a pinch hitter in the 7th, fly to left. And the count, 2 balls, no strikes. Runner at third, Garcia, 2 outs. Wild pitch, ball bounced well away from the padding, but nevertheless, Garcia was able to score to make it a 10-4 West Virginia lead.
Just a great read by Garcia there. I mean, it's not like Stanley was really late getting there. It's not like he didn't sprint. It's just Garcia got a great jump.
Drive to right field. Base hit. Ball played on one bounce. Peraza on his way to second. And his first hit as a Mountaineer is a double.
You kind of had the feeling that it was coming. He showed great plate discipline there, getting to a 3-0 count. Wanted to swing at the 3-1, let it go, and then got the exact same pitch back-to-back and drove it into a gap.
So the freshman out of Naples, Florida, joins the hit parade. Ball hit to the opposite way by Barnett. And it's out number 3. West Virginia picks up a run in the bottom of the 8th inning on 1 hit. 1 left on base. We go to the 9th. It's West Virginia 10. And Crew Robinson will stand in 0 for 2. 10-4. West Virginia leads. First time that the Mountaineers and the Cougars have ever gotten together for baseball. And here it is, the first game of the Big 12 Conference baseball schedule. There are 6 series, 5 series that start tomorrow. And West Virginia and BYU playing a double dip tomorrow.
They'll finish tomorrow.
Outside 1 and 2. 2 o'clock is now the scheduled starting time for the doubleheader tomorrow. Two and two. Amos, 6'5" right-hander out of Shadyside, Ohio.
Shadyside, Ohio. I wonder if he lives in Sunnyside over here in Morgantown.
3 and 2 on Robinson. For BYU, solo home run for Vest in the 7th. Solo home run for Jones right after the 2-run homer of Aloy. And the strikeout of Robinson, the first out of the 9th inning. Major went 8 innings and struck out 8. He's charged with 4 runs and in line to pick up his 10th college win. So tomorrow, Cincinnati at Kansas State, TCU at Kansas, Baylor at Houston, Texas at Texas Tech. There are now 13 teams in the Big 12 Baseball Conference. Each team will play 30 games. Painter, 1 for 3. Three and two. Well, with Major working 8 innings, Randy Mazey only having to go to his bullpen for 1 inning, whereas on the other side, BYU used its relief pitchers for 3 2/3 innings. Ball hit the opposite way, and the ball played on 1 bounce by left fielder Cox. Painter's got his 2nd hit of the game. Painter 2 hits, Aloy 2 hits, including a 2-run homer. 2 hits for Easton Jones. And Luke Anderson, the batter. And a base hit the opposite way from the right-handed batter. Now Anderson has 2 hits in the game. 2 men on, 1 out. 9th inning, West Virginia 10, BYU 4.
It's a great piece of hitting there by Anderson, just able to get barrel on it and drive it into the outfield.
And now Herdsman, who's 0 for 4, came into the game with a 10-game hitting streak. Bouncer to the mound. This could end the game. And it does. The 1-4-3 double play closes it down. BYU in the 9th, no runs, 2 hits, double play, 1 left on base. And the first game of the 2024 Big 12 baseball campaign is won by